Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the worst idea of all time, episode 12.
I'm Guy Montgomery.
I'm Tim Batt.
I'm James Acaster.
That's right. This is our first guest in the booth.
I think so, and James do lean in. As you can see, we've got a state-of-the-art studio here, but it's not quite as sensitive as we'd like. So.
Yeah, don't be afraid to get right up to the microphone so everyone can hear your fantastic opinions on the film. So, quick rundown on the premise. Worst idea of all time. Tim Batt and I are watching Grown Ups 2 once a week for 52 weeks, and we'll review it every time for you at home. This week, James Acaster joined us. He's over for the New Zealand International Comedy Festival. And I'm quite keen to just roll our sleeves up and get right into it.
Well, firstly, just a slight little bit of admin. You'll remember from episode 11 of The Worst Idea of All Time that Guy and I promised to watch it twice in one go to account for the fact that we were kind of tuned in and out last time because we were dealing with a red wine stain that Guy had created.
Yep.
There's a lot of noise. There was a vacuum cleaner. There was a hairdryer.
Bit passive aggressive. That the blame there was solely directed at you guys.
Yeah, it was solely my red
bit
wine.
of an emphasis on the word guy there.
I had literally nothing to do with it.
Anyway, look, let's not get bogged down with the red wine stain. What it means is that Tim and I woke up bright and early. We had an 8:30 screening, then we had to go to an interview, and then we came right back and were joined by James at high noon for the second screening of the day. James, I was watching the movie. There were some laughs. There were some sort of exacerbated moments. What's your overall feeling?
Personally, guys, I think you've chosen the right film to watch 52 times because there's so much going on in it that I would need to watch it about 52 times to fully take it all in. I believe that you're probably discovering something new with each watch, and there's bits that you've forgotten about. I've never seen a film before that doesn't have a story and yet still manages to take you on a journey, an emotional journey all the way through. I don't know where to start with it. There's too much.
Well, I thought I might just say I was really at the start of the film today. I was really excited having you here because just the idea of you watching it for the first time and that you got to experience like how many characters they're introducing at a rate of knots and just how they tie in a lot of storylines, but there's no purpose, there's no payoff in any of this, and it's sort of having a first
well, that's
timer.
Your opinion. James may disagree.
Well, yeah, but having a first timer in the studio was like
payoff.
There was a reminder of what it's like to watch a movie for the first time. I felt today.
Yeah.
You know, like when I first saw Kill Bill. And in the opening scene, she just answers the door and someone punches her in the face immediately and there's a fight. And Grown Ups 2 is like that at the beginning, where it's like there's instantly like a stag in his bedroom and it pees all over him. and you don't even need to know what the reason is. Eventually you do, but it's just because someone left the door open. That was it. But there's a massive, it's straight in with the action and it doesn't let up. It doesn't stop at any point. For the whole thing, there's something happening. There's never a dull moment in the whole film. Something's happening constantly.
You've picked such a beautiful metaphor for the whole film, and something crazy happens.
Yeah.
A stag is pissing on everyone. There's no reason. Well, there is a reason. The reason is someone left the door open, and that is this whole film. Something happens. Why does it happen? Someone left the door open.
Someone did something inexplicable for no reason, and then something happened.
But it never amounts to anything. It just happens, and then once they've milked all of the negative comedic value they have out of it, they just do a hard cut to a whole new...
To a party.
Yeah.
That's the way to do any film, I think. You just don't bother with the storyline, and then at the end you get all the characters, so you put them in a party, and then you make something happen there. You just go, well, we'll put them all at the party. And I actually, the film I can definitely defend and say I liked, and I think more films should do this, was the ending. I think every film should end with just getting all the bad guys and just beat them up. And don't have any redemption for anyone, and just beat them all up really, really viciously. Just fight them and punch them in the face over and over again. That's all you want to see.
James, you're a comedy guy. You're an international comedian. What did you think of the cast? This is, as Guy said in the middle of the film, it's like SNL, the movie, but fucking terrible.
It's nice, to see the old familiar faces popping up. Any Adam Sandler fans, any fans of the Happy Madison franchise will be very glad to see a lot of his friends popping up again. Peter Dante playing the cop. He's played many people in the past. If I can remember any of them, I'm pretty sure that Peter Dante and the guy with the funny eyes, and the guy who played the hippie teacher are all people who just worked for Adam Sandler at one point in his his general management.
Yeah,
and then
not
he started
even
putting
in
them in his films.
not in an acting capacity or comedic, just like his plumber. And he's like, "You want to be in a movie?
Yeah.
Jump in."
Funnily enough, though, after this many viewings, some of those guys, particularly Peter Dante and the hippie teacher, those are characters which I think are stronger than other guys. I mean, we could use more of them.
Well, they're just playing the same people. Well, actually, the teacher isn't. Alan Covert is the teacher. I believe that's his name. And he's played a lot of more of a variety of characters over the years. So it's harder to place him in films. But he was like his best friend in Wedding Singer. He was the guy who just Michael Jackson.
Right. He got old.
Yeah, I think he's wearing a wig in this.
Right.
I think he's wearing a wig. He's played many different characters in all this.
And somehow, I mean, we were speculating a while ago that Sandler must have dirt on Steve Buscemi. Why does Steve Buscemi keep committing to these?
They've been friends forever, those two. They were in Airheads together. That was really early on. That those two and Brendan Fraser were doing films together. Steve Buscemi just enjoys doing his films, and I think the whole film is probably worth it for Buscemi dressing as Flavor Flav. I imagine that Grown Ups 2 started because Sandler said, I want to have a film where Buscemi dresses as Flavor Flav, and one of them went, well, how about a party that's an 80s party? Who would have that? What about your character from Grown Ups? You'd probably host a party like that. Okay, well, we'll write a film that climaxes to that.
I'm glad you said this because I had a thought. What might be fun is Tim and I will pretend to be network executives, okay? And you're the guy...
You're Adam Sandler.
You're Adam Sandler. So, no, you're not Adam. You're just the guy you're pitching Grown Ups 2 to us.
Okay.
So you've just seen it, but imagine you're coming in, we haven't given it the green light yet, you're saying you have to make this movie.
And if I may, I'd like to give you a bit of preamble on behalf of the network. So, James, thank you so much for making some time with us today. I appreciate you coming in.
No problem.
Look, as you know, times are tough. We've had the global financial crisis.
Yes.
Piracy is weighing heavily on our industry. We need some dynamite. We need some gold. Please let us know. What's your idea?
Well, guys, we can only make so many films. We can't make all the films we'd like, right?
This is true.
You'd like to make a film about a stag that runs loose and pees on people.
I would love that.
On the other hand, you'd like to make a film about a gay aerobics instructor who all the women fancy and his funny janitor sidekick who makes them do stuff, right? But you can't make both those films. But wait, you'd also like to make a film about a guy who finds out that he's actually got a son who's fully grown up and he's really scared of him because he's definitely a psychopath, right? You'd like to make that film as well. Plus, you'd like to make a film about a guy whose wife wants him to have a baby, and at the end of the film you discover that she's pregnant. Yeah, you'd like to make that film. You'd also like to make a film about a guy who remembers his wife's anniversary, but she forgets that it's their anniversary, and then he can hold it against her forever. And yeah, you'd like to make a film about...
James, I'm going to stop you there. I want to make all these films.
Yeah,
but I just don't think we have the money.
Yeah, where is this all going,
Here's
James?
the trick, guys. It's one film.
Fuck off.
We put all those characters in one film together, a community. We disregard any kind of main plot, and we link them all together. Because you know what, guys? Life is a series of small stories all linked together in a beautiful tapestry. And then we bring them all in at the end. And that is what it's like to be a grown-up.
Wait.
Too.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, this is how the movie got made.
That was really convincing.
It was so good.
Yeah. See,
This is how it happened.
That's what happened. You just go. I think you just realise there's so much. It's bursting with life. The whole film. There's so much going on.
It's like a Summer Slammer from Burger King.
Yeah.
I can have all of that for $5. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have all of this for $5. This hasn't even made it to the bargain bin yet in the Blu-ray.
It was a cheap movie considering the cast, though. I think. What did we say? 80 mil.
Now, another thing, James, because we haven't really... I mean, a lot of people are sort of incredulous towards the whole podcast concept. How do you feel about two people watching this 52 times?
I think it's good. I think it's a good experiment. And I genuinely do think you've chosen the right film for it. I think I would rather watch this 52 times than, like, Schindler's List or something. Or, like, I think this has a lot more to offer on each viewing.
Yeah.
I think it's a good experiment. I feel sorry for you guys. I think it's going to be horrible for you. I mean,
Thank you.
I don't know how much you want to reveal to the listeners, but you were both fading within the first 5 minutes of this watching. You weren't doing well. Tim, I'm going to say, he did descend into genuine depression at one point, and not even like a little jokey, I'm going to pretend to be depressed and put on a show. I think you were genuinely quite sad.
I was
and really
very
didn't want to
sad.
be here at all.
Yeah.
And Guy was exhausted by the end and not happy at all.
Having you here gave me fresh life for the first 20. Like, I was in delirium. I was actually laughing quite hard at jokes, just at the idea that you're seeing these jokes for the first time.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I mean, I did dip pretty quickly.
Well, for me, it's just the fact that we watched the movie twice today, and that is a ridiculous proposition.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, I never want to see it again. I'm never going to watch that again. I don't want to.
Of course
and I
you
would
won't,
only enjoy watching it again if I was showing it to a friend who I knew would hate it.
Have you seen the first one?
No.
No.
Would you?
I know if I need to. I think I've caught up on... I think that's told me everything I need to know about the characters. If every day... Also, that's one day.
Yes.
If every day of their life is like that, that is relentless. It's not, they don't even think it's anything amazing. Man. At the end of the day, they don't think it's that spectacular. If the same day that a stag broke into your house and peed all over you, your wife told you she was pregnant, and you had a brawl in your garden with like about 1 million frat students, you would probably go to bed thinking... Oh, I can't believe what happened. You wouldn't go to bed, do a sneeze, fart, burp, and then celebrate, which is how the film ends.
You've so succinctly name-checked so many features of the film that Monty and I have tried to drill into. We have a segment that we like to do on the podcast, which is called The Shining Light. And what it is the movie clearly is more than slightly intolerable, but we like to pick a bit that we enjoyed on this week's viewing that kind of stood out for us as a positive. Something we enjoyed, something that might have caught us off guard as being genuinely funny. Yeah. Do you have a moment in the film that you genuinely enjoyed?
The little Chris Rock's son shaking his butt when it's full of poop. That's funny. He's every time he does a little dance and shakes around, that's genuinely funny. It's funny that the kid's doing that. Especially when you think that he's got a diaper full of poo and he's a little kid who knows what he's doing. So he's shuffling his butt around and he knows it's making it harder for his mum to clean his diaper. It's funny. That's a funny concept.
That kid is dynamite, eh? That kid's a great actor.
He is pretty good. And it made up for... it got me through some of the more misogynistic elements of the film later on. It's pretty horrific in its perception of women, let's face it.
Yeah, well, while we've got you on a roll then, what do you think, similarly, the low light? I mean, at what point were you saying this is...
Most of the scenes that involved the women just either doing nothing. Let's face it, they've got like 3 pretty big stars, female leads in this film who do nothing each. They don't do anything. They don't do anything. Hayek does the most, and all she does is be a caricature and is really emotional and cries all the time, and is really unreasonable and just has her boobs pushed together for the entire film.
All the women, I think Maya Rudolph is the only one who stipulated in her contract she wouldn't wear a push-up bra.
And when we did the drinking game episode a couple of weeks ago, we made rules, and one of the rules Monty floated and we went with is that every time there's a push-up bra on screen, drink.
Hammered within, the first 2 minutes?
We got shit-faced. Yeah. There's so many rules, but it's a great game. But you're right, the misogyny is coming thick and fast. It starts early and it doesn't let up throughout the film.
It's really, really crazy. Those bits aren't... Also, I guess the low light is when the ice cream guy throws a metal scoop, and just brains a woman for no reason.
Now, that is Tanya, who's the extra that we will be hosting on the podcast at some point in the not-too-distant future. She's a yoga instructor in LA, not an actor, just was friends with the executive producers, I believe. I had a quick chat to her over Twitter. Right. Because we were quite drawn to her, because I really liked the noise that she made when she got hit and fell down. She makes this kind of goo-goo. Yeah. And I really wanted to find out if that was additional dialogue recording or if it was her voice.
That's Sandler afterwards. His
I
trailer.
asked her.
Really,
I asked her on Twitter. I said, "Is that your voice?" She said, "Yes." I said, "You're hilarious." She said, "Thank you." I said, "Do you want to come on our podcast?" She said, "Sure thing." I said, "I've got to give you a heads up. We're not huge fans of the movie, but we are watching it 52 times." She said, "That's fine. I'm not a big fan of the movie either."
Brilliant.
So we're going to have a chat to that. That woman.
How do you? Speaking of that sort of thing, how do you feel about the extras, James? You've got because when you do watch it enough, when you have watched it, say you're pushing 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. What I like to do is I start watching... I'm not watching the dialogue anymore. You're watching the actors reacting, because there's a famous saying in acting, which is acting isn't acting, it's reacting. Yes. I mean, do you think that the people, all the frat boys, all the party extras, are they aware that what they're in essentially is a bit of a dunger?
They must be, sure. I mean, I think Sandler doesn't care anymore. I mean, we all know he stopped caring a long time ago. He got to a point in his career where he went, "I will make whatever I like. I don't give a shit." So
it's funny people.
Yeah. Funny people is kind of, I think, his last try at a proper one, wasn't it? Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm going to do a proper, but then don't do it with Apatow. He's going to leave all the deleted scenes in, and that's what that movie is.
But
Yeah, I think they all know that the movie's not good. I imagine on set while they were filming it, they were all going, "This is awful."
Yeah.
I can't believe that any of those people thought it was good. But I think they just thought, who cares? We're making loads of money. We're really rich. And we just get... I bet it's fun to make. I bet a film like that must be well fun.
Yeah, I would think so. You got a lot of... It's your mates. You're hanging out with your mates every day. It's big budget. Well, like it's in a class of big budget. So you've got all the trappings, you've got trailers, you've got lovely catering, you've got people looking after you. You have the assistant too, Mr. Sandler. And you're skiving off. No one's putting too much work in.
We also had Rose Matafeo dropping in and out of the viewing, and she had
part-timer.
Not committed like you were, James.
No.
Or me, actually. Tim, I mean, you did a wee in the middle of the movie, I noticed.
We're allowed, though.
Texted?
I texted
that was particularly naughty.
Very early on in the film because I had to let someone know that I wouldn't be at a place because I was watching Grown Ups 2 for the second time.
That's okay.
Let someone know you're a cheater. Let someone know that.
The whole world now, or like 10 people know now.
The fucked thing is, we're watching it twice today to catch up on last time because I was so stringent about us technically watching this film in totality 52 times. So don't you dare get me up on a technicality this time.
I'm sorry, Tim.
You've got to ease up on that rule, though. You got 52 times. If another time something happens that distracts you, let it go.
Fuck no, James.
You can't let it happen.
This is the thing. If we don't do it, all of this is for nothing.
Okay.
Well, this is the one thing pulling us through now. As I say to Tim, because Tim, we've flirted with quitting, or there have been moments when we're so despairing. It's like, but then you think, no one cares about someone who watched Grown Ups 2 11 times. There's nothing in that.
That's not a thing.
52 times?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. You've got to get guests every time now, though. You can't do this on your own every time. There's no way.
Well, thank you. I feel like that's coming from a place of being concerned for our mental well-being. Yeah. And rightly so.
But I don't think you two can be friends after this.
I think we've grown together and then we grow apart.
I think it's made us closer. It's a weird sense of camaraderie that is created from just diving into this little pit. It's not. You've got to stop comparing it to wars.
We're in.
It's not like a war.
We're in the trenches together, watching this terrible film week after week, trying to endure the horrible acting and extras that they picked up who don't have.
Very similar to war.
What
I was going to say that Rose said though, which I thought was on point, was it's like a really well produced but terrible 48-hour film festival film.
Yes.
Like it's just it really hit me today in watching it. It's just so many disparate parts, and they think that to create a sense of cohesion, if they reference things that they've introduced earlier in the film, there'll be payoff, but there's no payoff because we don't care about anyone. None of it is amounting to anything, and it's a fucking high budget, too long, 48-hour film festival film.
It's a Trojan polished turd.
I thought at the beginning when they show all their different lives, you think, okay, there's 4 stories for the whole film. That's what it tricks you into doing. You go, Adam Sandler has got his crazy family who are all out of control, and there's a stag in the house, and the guy from Mike and Molly has
Kevin James
has got a really stupid kid, and he's got to figure that out. And Chris Rock's anniversary is happening, and David Spade's got a son he's just heard about. So you think that's the whole film, is those 4 stories, and the fact that doesn't even last 2 minutes. they just all their lives change in the next scene.
They
and
abandon
it continually
it immediately.
Just bounces around.
An interesting thing that I would like to mention this week is that I thought I noticed it in the first watch today, and then I looked out for it and definitely noticed it in the second one. Chris Rock's character's name is never mentioned in the film, not once. Because I asked Monty when we went and did a little press thing. We did some radio to do publicity for our comedy shows, but we ended up just talking about the podcast because that's what we do now. And on the way there, I was like, do you know what Chris Rock's character's name is? Because I feel like we've seen this double-digit times now. Yeah. We should know what everyone's name is. Couldn't think of it. And then on the second viewing, I tried to capture any moment where anyone says his name. It's not there. The first time you know what his name is in the credits, and it's Kurt.
I think surely there's more examples of that in the film. I can't think of a lot of people's names in that film. Salma Hayek, what's her name in it? They mention that?
They do. Yeah. They do.
Rudolph, mention her name?
Yeah, she's Deanne.
Let's say that.
I mean, but it's stuff. It's just they're throwing so much at you. It's really difficult to remember the specifics of everyone. Yeah.
But they should name just once. They should say Chris Rock's name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I mean, a lot of things they should.
And
with
not a
this
film that. I think there's only a few films where that doesn't happen.
yeah.
Ever.
Another thing I want to drill into while we've got you, James. You're a comedy fan. I mean, are any of the people in this film, have you ever grown up like admiring or respecting their work? I mean, are you a Chris Rock stand-up fan?
Some Chris Rock stand-ups, really good. I used to love Adam Sandler when I was growing up. I used to watch Happy Gilmore all the time, and I really liked Wedding Singer. Still really like Wedding Singer. I think that's a really good film, and I really like Punch Drunk Love. And I used to watch all of his comedies. I thought they were really funny. And what I liked about them was that it was just him and his mates goofing around, and it didn't matter. And but his old films, even they had a really simple plot that at least went through it. But now all of his stuff is ridiculous. Like, nothing's relevant at all. And there's that film, that 51st Dates film, where he's an animal doctor. He's a vet, and the only reason he's a vet is so that they can do a scene where some animal shits itself. I can't remember what the animal is, but like it's just like because that's not relevant for the whole film, but it's relevant for a bit where he shoves his hand up its butt and it poos over everyone, and so it just becomes irrelevant. Whereas the Wedding Singer, it was relevant that he was a wedding singer. Yeah, throughout the whole film, it was important.
So how do you? I mean, does it stir anything in you to see them all just mailing in, cashing a check like this, or it's just you're just like fuck it, who cares? They don't.
Yeah, I think good on them. I think they don't care, and if people are going to keep on like filling out the cinemas watching this, then they deserve everything they get watching these films.
No one to blame but ourselves.
Speaking of watching this sort of thing at the film, Tim, you were saying earlier you read a Reddit AMA with David Spade.
On the website reddit.com, David Spade didn't ask me anything, which is like a Q&A session, and he mentioned that there is a distinct possibility of Grown Ups 3. Yeah, I think he said that they might have started working on the script for it.
Well, the fact that the pregnancy thing's tied in at the end suggests that there's more to come from these lovable characters and families.
Well, there's infinite stuff. They don't have to ever stop. That whole film is a series of just like random events that just keep on happening to them. They can do it forever. They don't ever have to stop doing these films. They can just have a next film. They can sit down and start it now. And you go, right, it starts with he wakes up in a skate park and a skateboarder runs over his head. He chases the skateboarder for ages, and then he catches him and breaks his skateboard. And we'll bring that back later on in the film. That'll bite him in the ass. And then we go to Chris Rock, and Chris Rock's at the swimming pool with his daughter, and he jumps in the pool, and then he gets his ankle bracelet. He's got that on it. He gets caught on the ladder, and he's like swimming around, and then a kid comes along and pees on him, and then just do that.
This is the money.
You're on the money, because we
make a whole film out of it.
We pitched another sequel in the grips of delirium after the 48-hour film festival when we hadn't slept, and we watched it and sort of in a group viewing. Afterwards, we got quite deep in the idea of doing a Kickstarter for Grown Ups 3D.
Right, yeah.
And we'd ask people to pledge on Twitter how much they'd donate using the hashtag GrownUps3D, and we got a little bit of heat.
But there'd be a lot more boners in Grown Ups 3D, I feel.
Oh, the boobies, yeah.
Loads of boners and,
It'd just be a horrible idea for society. We should probably wrap this thing up. Guy Montgomery, I want to check in with your mental stability and just assess where you're at. A cool dozen watches now? Or 13?
No, we call it a dozen officially.
Okay, 12 and
to
a half.
Guinness World Records, we'd say it's a dozen.
A cool does. You've seen it twice today.
Right.
How are you faring?
Look, man, I mean, next week we're doing a live record on the Friday, so that means that I've got a week and a bit off. I mean...
Do we?
Yeah. Fuck, man. I don't know.
No, we do it on Sunday. What day is it today?
No, we're doing it next Friday. It's Wednesday
we'll do
today.
one before then.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't it?
It's one a week.
Okay.
Look, we're not here to talk logistics, mate. I'm feeling good. I'm glad we had James this week. I think he breathed new life into the film. I think he's right. We might need to get more regular guests. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how much more new stuff I can find in this thing. I'm fucking working my ass off.
Oh, do you have a shining light?
My shining light this week, I said it was that, and you said I might have used it before, but I liked it anyway. It was twice today. I genuinely laughed at the moment. It's in the supermarket. The lady Penny, who wears a beret, she points at it. She says, there's a moment of confusion, and Adam Sandler accused of having brain damage or something, and it was just, I don't know, it was a scripted joke which worked for me today. You go. How are you doing? What's your shining light? Let's get the fuck out of here.
Okay, but I also really quickly want to introduce a new segment that'll be at the tail. Okay. Just bear with me on this.
Okay.
Firstly, my mental state is bad. I'm quite terrified now of having to watch it another 40 times. Genuine fear.
We've done more than 20% of the work.
Yeah, that's a fifth, mate. And I feel... James, you were sitting next to me.
Yep.
You captured some of the mood, like a splashback.
Oh, it's horrible. Horrible to see.
Yeah. And
I never wanted to see a person like that.
And I'm going through that another 40 times. Like, I hate the movie. I hate watching it. I hate the experience.
It's getting pretty bleak. What was your shining light?
My shining light today was in the scene where they're at the garage and Higgins reveals that he's been fooling around with quote-unquote Fabio,
The muscular lady.
muscular one. And, what does he say? He says, he's talking about hiccups again. He says she's really hot. And then she goes, if she's so hot, why don't you make her your late night booty call? And then Kevin James says something, and then he says, oh no, she's going to kick the crap out of me. And there's an extra that they cut to, who is an old man working in the garage, who looks back inquisitively, and I just think he nails it. He was my shining light today.
There's a triumph of watching it 12 times, Tim, that you picked up on that. I'm really proud of you.
My new segment for this podcast is called Top 3.
Let's blitz through it.
We're going to do a top 3 every week on a new thing, and today's top 3 is going to be the top 3 stunts.
Okay. Counting down backwards, obviously. We haven't talked about this at all, so this is
Sorry,
going
I
to be a
just
shit
thought
show.
of it.
Definitely one of the top. Okay. Officer Dante on skis on the roof.
Oh, of course, yeah. I
Comes
forgot about
charging down, shooting guns in the air and lands in the water.
Great.
Phenomenal stunt. Really good physical humour. Great gag. James, you do one.
I would say when Swardson is on the blow-up life raft and rolls into the rec centre or whatever it is. It's some building. It's not even say what it is, but then he does a little roly-poly and does this. I like that. I like it when he does that.
For me, it would be the Shaquille O'Neal cartoon throw of a man over a house.
Yeah, I thought that really...
Who definitely would have died.
Yeah.
Oh, a couple of people die in this film, if you kind of look at the biology of it.
Tell you who should die. Nick Swartzen, when they're in the bus. You see how they rip him down, he just drops on his neck and then slides right down the back.
Yeah. Smashes his head on the back.
All right, so there you go.
Dead.
Brand new segment, brand new guest. It's been a hell of a week. Next week, only one episode coming out on the Friday. It's a live record at the Classic, so if you want to come down and watch it, it's happening at 5:30. We'll probably figure out something special for that as well. Thank you so much for listening. Remember not to watch the movie.
James, thank you so much for joining us and
Thank you, guys.
putting yourself through it.
Good luck.
Thank you. Lots of love. Don't watch the movie.
Yeah, and find us on Facebook. Now fuck off.
Live every moment.